Hey Suburban Psychics, welcome back. Our question this week is from Kathy. And Kathy's is short and sweet. Where should I live? Wow. She doesn't ask small questions either, does she? Short but large. Kathy's in the enviable position of being able to have an enormous amount of choice about where she can live. She lives in a large metropolitan area, and within an hour kind of radius, she has access to family, suburban type areas. She has access to beachside areas. She has access to inner city, urban areas, and every variable in between. So it's really a difficult question for her at the moment because there's so much choice. And there's areas that are like fashion focused and funky. There are areas that are more arty. There are areas that are more laid back and beachy. There are areas that have lots of children and lots of facilities for children. So the question really, I think, for Kathy behind this question is more about her lifestyle and where she's at right now and how she wants to express herself through her lifestyle and what she wants access to. A lot of people think because I'm colourful and energetic that I should be living in a more inner urban area. But what I know for myself at this time of my life is I actually like living somewhere that's fairly quiet, because for me home is a retreat. So I like to come home and retreat from the world and hide from the world because I'm a natural introvert, and that's how I recharge my batteries. And I want to go out to all the buzz and the crowds. So I need both, but I don't want to live in the noise and the congestion. I want to live somewhere a little bit more tranquil. So the place I've chosen to live is beautifully quiet, surrounded by trees. I look out the window here beside Suburban Psychic, and I'm on the third floor and I look straight into a tree and I love it and it's tranquil. But whenever I socialize, I want to go out. I want to go into the city. I want to go and have great brunch somewhere, and that is easily accessible from where I am by either car or public transport. So for this time in my life, this is ideal. So I think, Kathy, for you, let's get you some answers that support you, that help you focus and take an actionable approach to this around what's underlying this question and where you can now take it, the conversation, because the question is just the start of a conversation that you want to have. So looking onto the table first off, okay, so I've got a beautiful wooden tray on the table with over 70 crystals on it, and straight away I'm being drawn to amber. We've had amber come up as an oracle previously, but what I do each time is, even if the same thing came up every week in a row, I don't make assumptions about what amber's going to mean for Kathy. I go to the book and see what it means for Kathy. So we've got amber. The next thing we're going to choose, all right, nothing else on the table. And wow, this is all about colour for Kathy. I've been drawn to the Aura Soma Handbook by Mike Booth, and this is a beautiful system. A lot of colour involved. We'll get to that one in a second. And thirdly, again, nothing on the table. Hiding back here, Edward de Bono, How to Have a Beautiful Mind. I love his work, and I'm really interested to see how this is going to relate to Kathy's question. Okay, using Judy Hall's book, The Crystal Bible, let's see what we've got to say for Kate regarding this beautiful piece of amber. Where are we? Okay, here we go. So amber strictly speaking, it's not a crystal, it's resin. And that's why you get amazing pieces. This one doesn't, but you can actually get pieces with insects in them, and I just find it fascinating. What I would love is some sort of stereo microscope to really look into some of these beautiful crystals and pieces of amber. I have to put that on my Christmas list. So we know it's not crystal at all, but so therefore it has strong connections with the earth, and it's grounding because it's of the earth, it's of the trees, it's the resin of the tree. It's a powerful healer and cleanser that draws out disease. That's all very nice. Let's go now to the next page, and rather than read the entire page, let's allow ourselves to be intuitively drawn to the message that Kathy needs to receive. Alright, so I've gone straight to the middle of the page, and it says, mentally, amber stimulates the intellect, clears depression, and promotes a positive mental state and creative self-expression. It brings balance and patience and encourages decision making. Ha! Look at that. Being a useful memory aid. Its flexibility dissolves opposition. Emotionally, it encourages peacefulness and develops trust. I think the key words therefore that jumped out to me intuitively, clears depression. That just boom, leapt out at me. And then bringing the balance, patience, and encouraging decision making. I'm getting the sense that there's a little bit of depression for you around where you're currently living. Perhaps you don't feel connected, or you don't feel inspired, or you might even feel a little stagnant or trapped, and that's making you depressed. Well, or actually not necessarily that, but the idea that that will continue, that you're going to stay there, is making you feel a little depressed and a little flat. And so this oracle is asking you to look at that and acknowledge that for yourself. And therefore it's then giving you the support to dissolve the opposition to making a decision and to aid you in making a decision. So let's make a note of amber for Kathy. Now the second one we chose was Mike Berth's book, The Orosama Handbook. And what I'll do is use the chart at the front to choose a bottle, to intuitively choose a bottle for Kathy. And I'm going to hold the chart up so that you can see, hope you can see all of it, how gorgeous the range is. And it's actually expanded since I bought this book donkeys years ago, and more bottles have been added to the range. And if you went to an Orosama practitioner or a shop that stocked Orosama, you would physically stand in front of the display of all of these bottles and see which one drew you towards it. And it's two different colours suspended. One's oily, one's waterish, so that they separate, and whether the colour's above or below, all of the combinations mean something, and it draws on the information from colour therapy and colour theory. So let's just take a moment. Actually, I don't need to take a moment. Straight away, cannot take my eyes off bottle 55, which is clear over red. So I'm quickly going to make a note. Bottle 55, clear over red. And let's see what this bottle has for Kathy. Oh, okay. This is fascinating. So here we go. So this is how the book's set out, and it just describes the positive aspects and the challenge aspects of the bottle. And this is a something you'd shake up to homogenize it, and then you'd actually put it on parts of your body as well. So it tells you where you could apply it on your body. So this particular one is called the Christ, as in Jesus. The Christ bottle, and the keynotes are light and inspiration enters the physical world. Light and inspiration enters the physical world. The main points concerning the bottle, someone who has come through suffering to find the new energy within, bringing into the light the energy that lies within, and it reveals the potential and accepting who you are, yet with a sense of detachment or watchfulness. I really like this because I know at different times in my life I've lived in very different suburbs and houses, or even types of houses, from an actual home with a yard to an apartment. And as I went through change in my life as a person, my surroundings needed to be updated to reflect the change in who I am. So when it says someone who's come through suffering to find a new energy within and bringing into the light the energy that lies within, it seems to me, Kathy, that you've gone through some changes in yourself and as a person since you've moved into your current home. And as a result, that shell no longer reflects who you are and who you've become. And therefore, the new energy that's coming through from within needs a reflection in the outer world, in your surroundings, perhaps even in your personal appearance. So, just going to quickly see if there's anything else that it mentions. And it is talking about the specialty of the bottle is whether or not you're able to take on spiritual responsibility, and the issues that may need to be addressed is the need to recognize the anger, frustration and resentment that lies within, and to let go, and to not seek revenge in circumstances where you feel reactive. I don't know if that applies to you, but I wanted to read it out for you just in case it does, because I don't know the backstory. But I really do feel like if you've gone through an enormous amount of change during the period that you've lived in your current place, then now's the time, with the new energy and the new knowledge of yourself, to find somewhere that reflects that. And so the last one, our dear Edward de Bono, and this is called How to Have a Beautiful Mind. And yeah, Edward de Bono is a cult figure in developing tricks to sharpen the mind, and he absolutely is a cult figure. So let me just quickly write that down, how to have, and we'll go to a page and see what we've got for Kathy. So this is the one of his other books was all about hats, how he has 6 hats, and each hat is a different quality or characteristic. And so in meetings, for example, within business, you would wear a certain hat. So you would wear the hat of the optimist, that everything's going to work out fine. You'd wear the hat of the pessimist, who would pick everything apart. And so while you're wearing the hat, that's the sort of person you are. So what we've gone to is page 101. I'm going to make a note of that. The blue hat. Now he says here, for the blue hat, and this is on, I think I mentioned, page 101. Think blue sky and overview. The blue hat is like the conductor of the orchestra. The role of the blue hat is to organize the other hats and to organize the thinking. The blue hat has to do with process control. At the beginning of the discussion, the blue hat has 2 main functions, defining the focus and the purpose. What are we here for? What are we thinking about? What is the end goal? Oh, Kathy, how freaking perfect is this for you right now? You totally need to be the blue hat, asking yourself, like, what are you here for now? What are you thinking about? What's your end goal? Because in answering all of those sorts of questions, where you're going to live will come to you in an instant. So, defining that focus. Yeah, I'm just quickly scanning the rest of the page to see if there's anything else. That's it. That's what absolutely is jumping out, is to define the focus and the purpose. So what's your purpose? In asking, where should I live? What's the purpose behind where you live for you now? Not as it was when you moved in there, but now. I know, and I've said it earlier, my purpose for me in my home environment is tranquility, nature, the beauty of nature. I don't want to look out my lounge room window and see somebody else's wall or window. So my purpose in my home environment is the beauty of nature, the tranquility and quietness. The other purpose of my home is to still be accessible, easily accessible to all the other things I want to do, to the city, to good coffee, to great brunches. So focus on the question you're asking, what's behind the question. It's not where you should live, really, so much as where do you want to live and what's the purpose of a home for you right now. The purpose could be for a family in the future, and therefore it has to accommodate children and children's schooling. The purpose could be that for this point in your life, family's not a concern and you want to be in a vibrant urban centre. Maybe you don't want to be living on the main street at Newtown. Maybe you want to be living 4 blocks back, but close. So what's the purpose of where you want to live and how you want to live? Wow, I think this has come out really well. I love these answers. Kathy, and I hope you do too. Remember that the question you ask has the power to take you forward or to hold you back. So do think about how you phrase your questions, because the universe will do its very best to provide you an answer. And in asking, where should I live, you've allowed the universe to give you much more information than you originally asked for. So that's great, because you kept it nice and open. You didn't kind of lock it down. Should I live here? Should I do that? It's like, give me a broader amount of information. So your question was actually framed really well and in a way that helped me easily get straight under it and see what was behind it. So thank you, Kathy. Alrighty, my little suburban psychics, what's your question?